Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to do a chevron or a wave afghan, and you're seeing granny squares here on screen. What gives with that, right? Some people really struggle with the concept of doing chevron or wave afghans, and starting off with the granny is the solution. Today I'm going to talk to you about the ins and outs of starting your waves with granny squares of any type of granny square in order to be able to play. So let's take a look at what we're going to be examining today. So on screen here is the baby cluster waves blanket, and this is what it looks like there. We have a free tutorial and a pattern for this if you wish to do this. So the reason why I'm showing you this is that a lot of crocheters in the beginning of starting to do chevrons and waves, this has a slight chevron up and down as you can see, and where most people screw up is right on the edge. And so what happens is they start growing it out or they start shrinking it by accident and they're not maintaining the waves. So the whole concept with using granny squares like this is that you can get all of your waves established before you're actually starting to do the work. So the whole height of the wave is dependent on your granny square. So let's go back to the granny square and take a look at that. So on screen are two different sizes of granny squares. Does it matter? Nope, absolutely not. So the wave is dependent on the distance between the middle section and to the outside. So you will be able to tell that if you did it with this, that the waves will be a lot smaller than would be with this one. So what happens is that when you go to do this one, for example, the wave will come all the way down and then back up the next side and then come down again. So the whole trick is that the size of your granny will determine the height of your wave. So here's the thing. If you're going to do this concept, you can do any size granny that you wish. You just have to be satisfied with the amount of drop that it's going to have if you're satisfied with that kind of concept. So the minimum that you need to do is that a granny square with at least one gapping space in between the corners. So you have your two corners and one gapping space is all you need for a minimum to do this concept. So once you've decided the size that you want, you can go as big as you need. But how many granny squares are you going to make a blanket? Let's talk about that. So in Jeannie's picture here, we're going to do a tutorial available for this one. This is called the Modern Chevron Wave Afghan, and what you can see is that she's got the number of granny squares that make up the wave, and you can see the waves are really deep and full of texture, and this is using Bernat Super Value. So what you can see here is that the distance of the width of the Afghan is determined on how many squares are going together. So for example, if I was to do like a twin size with this, I would need less squares of this size, but with this one, because I want to go to the same distance, you would need more. So the concept is that you do the number of granny squares and just have it relax and sit down on something, and that'll be the width of your Afghan, because your Afghan on the edges will go straight up on one side and the other. But did you notice something about Jeannie's Afghan? You'll notice that she did here, and this is very common as well, and I have other photos to prove that as well, is that you'll notice that the chevron then grew up on the one side all the way up, but then what she did is that she just turned the granny squares upside down. So what happens here, let's just take this bigger example. So what she's done is that she's gone all the way straight up on this one side, and once she was satisfied, she turned it over and started again right here and then went all the way across and back to create the momentum on the bottom side. So what you can see here is that the granny squares are the starting point of your project. You can go as long as you want. So this, where it is right now, it could have been in the middle, could be on the very edge. It's all very subjective to your own personal creativity. So the trick to the whole concept is that you're going to do one granny square by itself. Okay, it won't be attached to anything. You can see that they're attached right now. That was not tied or sewed. This was done on the fly. So what happens is that every time you start the next one, so do the first one completely, it'll be by itself. So pretend it's just by itself. And then what happens is that when you come around the last round of the next one, you make sure that in the corners it was chain one. There was actually chain threes in the corners. So what happens is you chain one, slip stitch to the join to this next one, chain one, and then continue along. So what you want to do is that when we go to build this out is that when I do the next one, the last round is going to come, and when I come around, instead of chaining 3, I'm only going to chain 1, slip stitch to this one, chain 1, and then continue along with the square. So then you're going to get all of these established first. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do it with a smaller concept just like so. There's going to be another tutorial available for this, and we'll have that here in our index on YouTube. So what I want to do is I'm just going to show you the very basics on how to do this pattern using the smaller granny squares. I'll show you how to get started, and then I'm going to show you how to join, and then I'm going to show you how to build up as well. So I'm going to start. It can be any type of granny square. I'm just going to use a basic just as demonstration, as long as that you have your spaces in order to play with right on your corners and in your middle spots. So any design in the middle, you can see that the other one had a slightly different design than this one does. And again, it's all about how it finishes off on the sides, just like you see. So let's begin, and we are going to put this on the hook. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter. I'm using Karen Big Cakes as my example today. I'm going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I want to join it to the first chain and then pull through and through, and that creates the center ring. With this tail, I want to wrap it around the outside of that ring to keep it intact. Let's do round number 1. To start round number 1, we're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and I want you to double crochet 2 more times into the center ring. So 1 and 2. So with the chaining of 3 counting as a double crochet plus the 2 I just applied, there's a total of 3. And now I'm gonna chain 3 to turn a corner. So chain 3 and coming back into the center of the ring, keep this laid down on top of it so that you can get it stuck underneath, and you're gonna do 3 more double crochets. Now in this example, I've just got a small granny square. It's up to you the size that you want to stop at. Again, the distance is based on the corner to the tip of the corner. So chain 3 and then double crochet 3 more times into the center ring again. Okay, and then chain 3. Now we have other tutorials available for granny squares. So this is we gotta go back in, so we're gonna do the final. So you should have 4 sides to your granny. Chain 3 to finish, chain 3, and then attach it to the top of the beginning chain 3. So you should have 1, 2, 3, and 4 sides. So now we're gonna begin round number 2. So to start the next round, we want to slip stitch ourselves to this chain 2 or chain 3 space over here. So just going into the top of the next stitch, pull through and through, top of the next one, through and through, and then come into the chain 3 space and through and through. And now you're ready to begin. So that's how you're gonna start every one of the rounds as you go up. So if you don't wanna, if you want a bigger granny square to play with, you just keep on doing that same thing. So chain up 3, counts as a double crochet, and then chain, or sorry, add 2 double crochets still into this. Okay, so with the chaining of 3 and the 2 that you just put in, that equals 3. You're gonna turn a corner, so you're gonna chain 3 and then coming into the same space, 3 double crochet. So each one of your corners will always have that same concept when you're working with the corners like so. So now you're going to jump to the next space that's available to you. So chain 1 only, and then jump to the next space, which happens to be another corner. So in the corners it's always gonna be 3 double crochet, and then chain 3 and 3 double crochet. So remember what I said to you already in this tutorial, that in order to do this concept you have to have a minimum of 1 corner, and the space in between in order to get this concept to fly. So now we're gonna chain 1 and then jump to the next corner. So it's 3 double crochet, chain 3, and then come back in. So this is as big as I want it to get. This is my final round that I want to do. So I'm gonna chain 1 and let's quickly review. So this is as big as I want it to get. You can see it looks as big as the other size. And then what I want to do is that in the final corner that I'm about to do, I'm going to attach it to my friend over here. So as you come in, you're gonna put in your 3 double crochet first. So on the final revolutions of any of your squares, you have to attach it at 1 corner. So instead of chaining 3, I'm going to chain 1, and now I'm going to grab this one. It's the right side facing up, and I'm just gonna slip my hook into corner space and pull through and through. That's a slip stitch, chain 1, and then continue back on the same square that you had been working with, and it's only 3 double crochet. So once you attach it, you're not gonna grow these out any bigger. That's it. So chain 1 and then just join it to the top of the beginning, chain 3, and that's it. So what you have to just do then is just fasten off and weave in your ends. You could use a darning needle if you want to, and also the way that you're going to crochet will trap it into position as well. So I'm just gonna weave in and out, and then I'm gonna trim. So basically you have to go and add as many squares as you want to for your width. And so people are gonna email me, so well, how many squares should I do? I'm not gonna tell you that, because the reality is that you have to lie it down and determine if it's gonna be big enough for you for whatever project you're working with. So grab maybe an existing comforter that you have, maybe a twin size, whatever, lay it on your bed and just lay them out relaxed, and that'll be the width of your Afghan. So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna proceed now, and I'm gonna show you how to be able to do that. So add as many squares as you want. It doesn't matter how many in the width that you have, because the concept of going up and down is gonna be the same regardless of the distance. So let's begin, and you're going to have everything all nicely, all the ends woven in on your pieces here, and you're going to start off with the new strand of yarn. It could be the same color, it doesn't matter what color you use, and if you want to do color breakdowns, that's completely up to you. So what you want to do is that you want to go into the corner space on the outside just like you see, and you want to attach it. So just slip in and just have the yarn leading to the ball. Just pull through and through. That's a slip stitch, and you're gonna slip stitch that in. So whenever you're on a corner, it's always gonna be the same thing. So if you're doing this and you're going all the way up on this side, all you just have to do is turn your work and then start on the other side if you want to go in the other direction down. So to start up, we're going to do a total of chaining of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And leave down this straggler so it's down on top, and I want you to put the next 2 stitches together. So wrap the hook and going into the same space, pull through, and then pull through 2 and hold. Okay, so do that one more time. So wrap that stitch going down into the same space, pull through 2 and hold. And on the corner, just like you see, or the edge, you're gonna have a total of 3 loops, pull through all 3. So those 3 stitches just became 1, as you see here. And now you're gonna work your way going up the bridge, or up the mountain. So let's just refer to these as mountains. It's easier for me to talk my way through it. So you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to go to the next space, and there's gonna be 3 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, and 3. And then chain 1, and look, you're at the top of the mountain. So on the top of the mountain, you have to come up to one side, go over the edge, and go down the other side, all within this. So you're going to put in 3 double crochet. You already know how to do this. And then you're gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then coming into the same space, you're gonna do 3 double crochet. So now you've just gone up and over top of your mountain, and now you're gonna come down the other side. So what you have to do is that you have to look for the space that is before the join. So this is the space that is before the join. So this space and this space have to come together to attach. Watch how it's done. So you're gonna chain 1, and in this space you're gonna put 3 together stitches. That's called a cluster. So how you do that is wrap the hook and into the space and pull through, or pull through 2 and hold. And then you're gonna do it again. So wrap the hook going into the same space, pull through 2 and hold. And do it one more time, and you should have 4 loops on your hook. So you got 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now you're gonna pull through all 4. And now you're gonna jump to the next space that's over here. So you can see this is where they're joined. You're gonna come up to the next space and do the exact same thing you just did. So wrap the hook going in, pull through 2 and hold, wrap the hook again, same space, pull through 2 and hold, and then wrap going in, pull through 2 and hold. And how many loops are you left on the hook? The answer is 4. So the only time it's 3 is when you're on an edge, like so when you go to start. So pull through, and now you're going to chain 1 and go up the mountain. So the mountain is right here. So this is the very top. So this is gonna be 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. And you're gonna go up over the mountain by chaining 3, and then 3 double crochet back into the same one. And now you're gonna chain 1. So you always kind of chain 1 in between, except for in between the 2 of the clusters that you have right here. So now you come back down, and look, you have a space here, you have a space here, and this is where they're attached already. So this space and this space become together just like you see it here. So how do you do that again? It's putting 3 together. And you do that all the way across as you go up and down. So pull through the 4 loops and then just jump to the next side here and do the same thing. So you notice I did not chain 1 in between those. I just directly put the 3 into one, and then I jumped over and did 3 into the other. Just like you see. So now we're gonna go up the mountain. So chain 1 now, and the mountain happens to be the next one. Happens to be the high one. So if your granny squares are bigger, there's more spaces before you end up hitting the top of the mountain, and it's no big deal. It's just a matter of doing what you already know. So chain 3 and then 3 double crochets into that same one. So eventually you're gonna come to the other side that I'm about to hit. Okay, so what you have to just do is that you come to the other side, you chain 1, and you're going to, in this space here, just put in 3 double crochets as you normally have been before. Okay, and you did that on the other side. So in between the mountains, okay, it's automatically jumping into the spaces here, but on the edges it's slightly different. You have an extra one to play with. And then chain 1, and then in the very final, this is the corner, you're gonna put 3 together. It's like a same cluster, and it's all gonna be into that one same spot, and then you pull through and you're done. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So you see you started off with the cluster, you had a space to fill in, then you hit the top of the mountain, and then you came down and put these 2 together, went up the mountain, and then came down the mountain, up the mountain, and then finished off on the other side. So now the trick is that you want to go straight up. So how do you do that? Let's turn our work and let's begin that. So let's turn our work, and we're gonna work our way up. So how we do when we go to start the next one is that we have to get ourselves to this first chain 1 space right here. But right where we are right now, we're on the top of the cluster. So how we do that is just we insert our hook into the space and yarning over and pulling it through. So it's a slip stitch to that space first. And now to begin, chain up 3, and we're gonna put the next 2 together into the same space. So this keeps it going straight up, and then pull through all 3 loops, and then chain 1, and then we just work our way into the next space. It's not the top, as you can see. So the next space is gonna be 3 double crochet. So both of the sides are gonna look like this. It's just everything else in between does not have this extra space there. And then chain 1, and then you're at the top of the mountain. So top of the mountain is what you already know, a 3 double crochet. Okay, chaining of 3 and 3 double crochet. So we're now gonna start heading down the mountain. So let's look where we are. So chain 1 first, and now you can see right where we are. So we have a space here and here. It's on the other sides of the 2 clusters. So right here and here have to come together. So how we do that is just what you already know. Is so this space here, we're gonna put 3 stitches together. Pull through all 4 loops, and then just jump to the other space that's available to you on the other side of this configuration, and you're gonna put the 3 together. So this keeps it nice and tight as you do it. And now you're gonna work your way up the mountain. So chain 1 first, and the top of the mountain is next. So it's gonna be 3 double crochet. Chain 3 and 3 double crochet coming down the mountain. Okay, chain 1, and now looking, you're coming down the mountain, so you have to go in the spaces on the other sides of the 2 existing clusters. So just coming in, putting that together, and then just jump to the other one. Notice I did not chain 1 first. It's one of the very few times you don't. And then chain 1 and go up the mountain, and the top happens to be next. Again, if your granny square is bigger, the top of the mountain may be a few stitches or a few gap spaces before you get there. In this case it's right away, and then you just go down the mountain. the other side. So again, you're just gonna go up and down just like that formation, but on the other side, here's how you're gonna finish it. So you're gonna just put in your chain, or sorry, your 3 double crochets into the next space. And then chain 1, and in this space here, okay, this is gonna be 3 together. Okay, and you're thinking, well, that doesn't look right, but it does. Look at it from this point of view with the point down. See, it's going straight up, and on the other side, just like you see with this point down, it's going straight up. So to turn your work again, remember, it's all the same as what you already know. So the goal is that you have to get yourself to this chain one space first. So just insert your hook in and over, and it moves you over. You chain 3, and then put the next 2 together into the same one, and then you start moving up. So chain 1, and then go into the next space that's available to you. It's on the edge, so there's an extra space as you work your way up the mountain, and then chain 1, and then you're on the top of the mountain just like you see. So you go up and down all the way to the other side, and again you go up and over top of your mountain here. You fill this in with 3 double crochets, and then this final one right here is gonna be 3 together in order to maintain that. So this is how you do this kind of concept, and you can see it's kind of a lot of fun, and it's an easy way of getting started with doing chevrons with having granny squares already established. And if you want to keep the same colors, that's completely up to you. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Have a great day. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.